All right, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Today is
So,
Thursday, July 22nd. We're having our mental health support group. My name is Frank Latte from the Latte Wellness team. And on the call today, we have Shanine and Siao. And we are going to get started today with our mindfulness activity. So let me pull that up. And so the mindfulness activity today is called from big to small to big. All right. So in this mindfulness activity, we will explore how our mind works, and in particular, how our attention changes when we move from the big picture to the small area of a single pointed focus. Mindfulness is about staying present and aware. We can do this on a grand scale, aware that it's morning versus night, for example. And we can also do it on a small scale, detailed scale, aware of one particular fraction of a second. While meditating, we might find that it's easier. Um, at first, it's easier to do one than the other. It may be easier to meditate as a whole body versus holding awareness to just our pinky toe. Paying attention and awareness in this way builds our capacity for mindfulness and teaches us more about how our mind works. So as we move closer and closer towards single point of focus, a single point becomes more difficult to find. Even the tiniest of objects or their atoms can be still broken down into their parts. Thus, by turning the big picture into the smallest one, we end up with a big picture view again. This time, we notice that nothing exists the way we think it does, and everything is dependent upon the construction of our minds. We'll use the following meditation to play with shifting awareness from big picture to small detail, noticing what happens along the way. All right.
okay.
All right. So I want you all to find a comfortable, quiet place to sit. Okay. Close your eyes and turn your attention inward towards your breath. Breathe steadily and quietly in and out your nose. So breathe in, breathe out your nose. Breathe in and out your nose. Notice the breath on a big level. Just breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Notice how the entirety of your body moves with each breath in and out. Stay with this sensation as long as you like. Breath as it's felt by the whole body. Breathe in, breathe out. Then focus in on the movement of the breath through the nose only. Breathe in, breathe out. Focus on the movement of the breath through the nose only. Stay with this sensation for as long as you like. Breathe through the whole nose. Breathe in, breathe out. Then focus in on the movement of the breath Sorry. Then zero in on one small part of the nose where your breath, where you notice your breath the most. So breathe in, breathe out. Focus on one small part of the nose where you notice the breath most. Stay in this small area for as long as you like. Breathe through one small part of the nose. Can you zero in further? Can you hold your attention within a small area? Is it possible to feel breath as it moves past one single nose hair? Breathe in, breathe out. Keep following attention inward towards the tiniest detail you can. Breathing in, breathing out. Rest your mind in the spaciousness of that detail until the meditation is complete. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. How was that experience for you all?
It was okay because usually I'm used to breathing in and out, and then you blow out through your mouth. So that was pretty good. And you was able to concentrate on just like the one nostril, like the left one. Yeah, I was able to do that.
Okay, excellent.
Because usually I don't do good with yoga or meditating because my mind is always wandering somewhere. And so, yeah.
Others?
I like this activity. I think it's a very good start of the day. Like just wake up and get up and like preparing for the work. I think it's a great activity to be able to to get into like the working like status for me, like the to help my performance too. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. All right.
I think that's probably something. Could we do that with our clients when we start our session?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you go to the Latte Wellness Group, if you go to our website, let me share my screen. If you go to the Latte Wellness Group and you go to resources, we have free mindfulness worksheets. There's over 300 in here.
Okay.
If you go here, mindfulness worksheets, and anybody should be able to access these. Hopefully I still can. So I did from big to small, but there's other ones too. So play around with it. So you can start off every session with a mindfulness activity.
Okay.
All right.
And we go to our Google Mail and type it in that box.
It was from our when you go to our website, lattewellness.com,
Uh-huh.
and you go into resources.
Mm-hmm.
And free mindfulness.
Go and click on resources.
Mm-hmm. And free mindfulness worksheet.
Okay. I didn't go to it on my phone. Okay.
All right, excellent. All right, so today, first off, were there any things that anybody would like to share in terms of maybe difficult clients that they've been having, or obviously for privacy reasons, we're just talking about the issues that the clients are facing, any anxiety, depression, traumas.
I would say the most thing that I'm dealing with all of my clients, except for one, is their confidence and communication, speaking up. So they do a lot of role playing. And then every time when we usually come back to the next session, they even changed up the, what's the word? They changed up what we decided that she was going to say, and or they didn't go through it with it at all. So then we have to come up with another scenario again for them to approach certain people, whether it's family or friends. But most of them have communication and confidence. And I would say like social anxiety with a few of them as well. It's more so talking to people in the public. And some of them, it's hard for them to go through with the plan. So when we come back to the next session, they ended up not doing what the plan was. So they still be in the same predicament.
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about this. How to build self-confidence. So just in general, when you have a low self-esteem or low self-confidence, mm-hmm. It actually impacts you in more ways than one. Mm-hmm. You know, it impacts your performance, because when you have a low self-esteem, you find yourself wasting time and energy worrying that you're not good enough. Mm-hmm. And when we're worrying about what we're not good at, we're not focusing on the things that we are good at. Right. So the first thing I always try to tell clients is, look, we need to stop comparing yourself to others. And social media can be, oh my gosh, man, social media can be brutal.
Yeah.
You might see this person's always at the beach.
Mm-hmm. And you be like, why I'm not at the beach? I don't go to the beach. Then you start talking to your significant other or your friends and be like, why we don't do this and that and that? Is something wrong with our relationship? But then it's another issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
You start to, is something wrong with me or is something wrong with you? Like,
yeah, you know, as human beings, we have this thing called destination syndrome, where we just keep, nothing's never good enough. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? We reach one, we attain one goal, then we go to the next.
Yeah. add
Go.
another one.
Yeah.
It's like never ending. But should it be ending with the goals? I think we should always want to grow and accomplish new things. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's the fact that when something's just not good enough, and I would say it's good to celebrate small victory,
mhm.
but also in terms of, I'm sorry, it wasn't goals, but it was that's when we had the destination disease. I was more referring to, let's say, um, just that feeling of not having enough.
Okay.
We always want more and more and more. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's when it starts to really, really consume us.
Right. Right. And I think that an example for that one, well, even though you said destination, but you know how some, and maybe males do it too, but not as much, but more so females when they have that surgery to enhancement surgeries, and it's like they just never can stop making it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Would that be a good example? Like,
Yeah, sure. You
okay.
know, it's whatever's unhealthy. Whatever when you have that you feel that, oh man, I always wanted this and I'm always searching for more.
Mm-hmm. Have you
Right?
ever thought about that maybe? Because I had a conversation about that with my oldest daughter, because she follow people on social media and everything. And I'm still talking about the enhancement surgeries. And so we was talking, we was like, you think it's like a mental thing that, why the female will want to keep doing that to her body? Like we was thinking like maybe it's something going on with her and she feel that that's not good enough, because it gets to a point where it's not healthy, and it doesn't look healthy. It looks painful actually. And you would just be like, something going on inside that they feel they have to keep getting it bigger and bigger and bigger, and they never be satisfied with it. That's a
Mm.
conversation I would like to have with one of those females to see like what's really going on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It may be due to low self image about yourself.
But it seemed like when they go back and they get it bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's like, I know you see what I see, because you look at yourself every day in the mirror and you know it doesn't look too good, but yet you still keep going back. So it's like, do you do it to build your self-esteem, or like why are you really doing it? Because that's not building your self-esteem, especially when you get a lot of negative comments about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, oftentimes,
Like, how is that boosting your self-esteem when you keep going back and back and back? So, yeah, that's a conversation I would love to have with one of them.
yeah. I mean, I don't know too much about it, but yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so another thing about comparing ourselves to others is that researchers found that those who compare themselves to others often experience envy, and the more envy that you experience, the worse you feel about yourselves, right?
Right.
And so if you find yourself, or people listening to this find themselves feeling envious of somebody else's life, they have to remind themselves of their own strengths and success.
Right.
You can implement like a gratitude journal to really focus on your own life and not the lives of others.
Right.
Right? So really point that out amongst yourself and say, hey, look, if I'm feeling X, Y, and Z, then that's something um, if I'm constantly comparing myself, or if I'm constantly not satisfied with myself, focus on what I do have.
Uh-huh.
Also, the importance of surrounding yourself with positive people.
Right.
Your environment can either be growth,
Uh-huh.
or can it either tear you down?
Right.
Right? It's like some people focus so much on trying to please others that they don't even like.
Yeah.
I and when I couples counsel, when I do couples counseling, I tell people, imagine your relationship as a seed,
Uh-huh.
and you plant the seed in the ground. Now your environment is going to be what? The soil, the air. There's a lot of different things. And you have to make sure that that seed that you're planting, you're watering it every day. You're not watering it with soda. You're watering it with water for nutrients, right? You're tilling the soil around it to make sure that it's very, very fertile, right? The soil that you have to be in has to be to for if anybody knows, I know people aren't farmers, but if you're planting something, you have to make sure you're in good soil, because that's just going to give you the good nutrients that you need.
Right.
Thoughts on that?
Well, when you said you can't feed it with soda, that's like feeding it with toxic. And then that brings in toxicity into your relationship. Mm-hmm. You got to be careful what you're bringing in and what you're feeding your seed with. You got to be careful what you're bringing in into that relationship.
Exactly. And with building your confidence, if you're constantly focused on negative people or negative energy or this and this, then your life is going to be, then you're going to tend to focus, your life is going to be directed, focusing on one thing, negativity. And it's the hardest thing, it's the hardest, really, it's really the hardest thing to do, to really get yourself out of that negative slump and get yourself out of that negative environment.
Right.
But once you do free yourself from that environment, you feel so much lighter.
Right. Right.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Courtney.
Good
Try
morning.
not to bring that negative energy into your relationship or just into yourself, even if we're not talking relationship, just for your own self. Don't bring that negativity to yourself. Don't surround yourself around that negativity if it's going to make you feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to make you feel low about yourself, then you need not be around that negativity.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Courtney?
Yes, my question was, so for this particular example, in terms of surrounding ourselves with positive energy, positive people, that sort of thing, what if you have a client and you express those same things that you just shared with us, but the person is, how do I want to say it? What if the person is trying to place themselves in a positive space, surround themselves with positive people, but they still feel strongly that negative energy still like just follows them? I don't have a client that's going through that, but I'm just asking because some people really feel like that. Like either way, like they can change different things about their actions, they can change how they think, and then they still believe that like negativity still just follows them.
I would say this. I always tell clients, We have to focus on the things that we can control. Right? We can't control what other people say, but we can control how our response back to them. And if negativity is following you, and the common denominator is you, maybe we got to look at, okay, am I doing anything to attract the negativity? At least that's what I and so then that's where we got to look at your life and say, okay, what are the negative aspects that are happening? Let's start listing them out. And really systematically address them one by one. You have to start writing down the negative things. And then for every negative thing, have a plan. Write down the plan and say, okay, this is my mitigation plan, right? Mitigation strategies. If this goes south, this is what I'm going to do. And really, really commit yourself to following that plan. And if you can't, and if something goes wrong in following that plan, then evaluate it and say, okay, where did I go wrong here? What could I have done better?
And some people think that even with if they feel like everywhere they go there's negativity around them, maybe that negativity isn't supposed to be for you, but you just have this way of thinking that that negativity is for me. And maybe you should change your way of thinking and stop thinking that somebody that happened because of you, or like if you're sitting in traffic or something, or I don't know, maybe in the fast food line and the person in front of you taking a long time and you get really upset about it. But I mean, it really has nothing to do with you. If you just would stop thinking that negativity happened because of me, because I'm here at this situation and negativity happened, or it's because of me, or I'm taking all that negative energy. You don't have to, especially when it has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're in a classroom and there's tension amongst your classmates, that has nothing to do with you, but some people will take that to heart. Like, everywhere I go, something always happens, but it didn't even happen to you. So that's another reason why that person might say negativity is always following me. Everywhere I go, something negative happens. Well, most of the time, it has nothing to do with you. I guess you just have to change your way of thinking.
Mm-hmm. Taking care of your body. You need to focus to feel better about yourself too. It's hard to feel better about yourself if you're constantly abusing your body. Right? You got to have positivity for your mind, body, and soul. Looking at the diet that you're eating. Are you eating foods that lead to higher energy levels? Or are you eating things that make you just feel so drained?
Right.
Are you eating foods that make you feel healthier, stronger, more energized? Because those foods can then improve your outlook, to say, okay, hey, when I'm eating good, I'm feeling good.
Okay.
Right? Exercise. Studies time and time again has showed that regular physical activity boosts your body image and it boosts your confidence. Maybe it's time to get a trainer.
Yeah.
Right? Exercise 2 to 3 times a week. Thoughts?
I know one of my clients she has a trainer, and she looks forward to having her training once a week. And that's one of the ones that's working on building her confidence, and she also is working on losing weight. So she's getting there. She's doing what she has to do to build the confidence. It's just going to take a minute, but she's getting there. But it makes her feel good for that moment. And she's thinking about setting up a room in her house where she can go and exercise. So she bought her the dumbbells and all that stuff. She's starting to buy stuff. So.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Yeah, actually, excuse all the background noise, I'm at work, but I agree as well with that. Me personally, I do find it I find it beneficial for me to actually go outside and like take walks, because not only am I getting the activeness that I need, but it also helps me relieve stress, or give myself a chance to like really think about things that I'm overthinking, or that I might be thinking about at that particular moment. So yeah, I definitely agree with that being beneficial in terms of making sure you keep yourself active, and that you intake the proper things to keep your overall health.
Mm-hmm. Sleeping. Are you getting enough sleep? A lack of sleep can take a toll on your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Where quality sleep is linked to positive personality traits, including optimism and self-esteem. Meditation. Meditation, the mindfulness activity that we started, can help boost your confidence in several ways. First is recognizing and accepting yourself. When you're forced to sit there with yourself,
Right.
think about the things that you don't like about yourself. Ooh-wee.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It also helps you to stop the negative self-talk and disconnect from any mental chatter interfering with your self-confidence.
Right.
Right? Being kind to yourself. Self-compassion, treating yourself with kindness when you make a mistake, when you fail, when you experience setback. Oftentimes, people that struggle with self-confidence and with self-confidence, they're more harder on themselves than they're harder on somebody else.
Yes.
If somebody else makes a mistake, oh, it's okay. You get it back next time. When they make a mistake,
it's the end of the world.
Having that grace for yourself.
And all of these, Frank, fall under be kind to yourself. Eating healthy, exercising, meditating. It all just falls under being kind to yourself.
Absolutely.
Like being kind to yourself can be just, that could just be the only one. And everything else just fall underneath of that.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind to yourself at least once a day, and do whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it just be you focusing on yourself.
Okay. Got about like 10, 15 minutes here. Any other hard topics, like any clients that you all had to, let's say, refer out that we could try to tackle to give some viewers some really, really interesting?
Okay, so I have a client. How do I want to start off? Okay, so I'll say this. The client that I have, his presenting concerns, things that his goals that we discussed throughout his treatment plan, things like that, he has definitely been progressing. He's been doing pretty well, very well. But now, last week when I had a session with him, he has a concern now of his drinking. He's been intaking alcohol very heavily lately. So I asked him, the question that I asked him was, does he feel like he lacks control when it comes to alcohol? He said yes. So then he asked me of some resources and what should he do in order to adjust it. Of course, decrease his intake amount. Because he knows that overall alcohol is going to, one, he's a musician. So he said he knows that alcohol, of course, will mess him up vocally. He knows that overall it's not good for his health, period. He's into fitness. So he wants to be able to maintain his physique and things like that, but he knows alcohol will mess that up. So he's giving me all of the information and all of the things that he knows in terms of negatives that alcohol will do to him. But yet, on the other hand, when it was time for me to give him these resources or share with him some things that I think that would help, it was like he was very dismissive of it. And it was like, oh, well, I don't have a problem. So I was lost with that in terms of, like, I wasn't sure what to really do. And I'm not sure if it's a situation where, I asked him, when did it start? He said that, of course, it began during the pandemic when everything was shut down. So he realized that he started doing it out of boredom. He said that he continues to do it out of boredom. And he was like, out of 7 days out of the week, maybe 2 days, 2 days out of 7 days, he'll get maybe like buzzed. And then the rest of the week, he's totally placid. But he's able to function at work. He's able to do everything that he's used to doing on a daily basis. But he does not think that he has a problem. But he knows it's a problem.
All right.
You said he drank every day?
Yes. Yes. He said out of 7 days, 2 of those days, he said he does it just so he can get like a quick buzz. And he said that could be a half a bottle of whatever he has. And then he said the remaining, 5 days out of the week, he's toasted. Like I said, he was able to identify a lot of the reasonings for why it is a problem, but he does not feel that he has a problem. Yet he asked me for different ideas for him to slack up, other resources for him that he might need in the future. And then when I shared it, like I said, he was totally dismissive of it. And he said, well, I don't have a problem, so I don't need to do those things. I was like, okay.
All right. So let's not be judgmental here. Right? That's key. So let's say you have a problem with alcohol, or you have a problem. A big one right now, in addition to alcohol, is weed, marijuana. Clients are coming in, I just can't stop. Right? So let's say you have a drug problem. First, you got to figure out, I would say if it really gets out of hand, go to Alcoholics Anonymous or go to Narcotics Anonymous. Because when you try to stop it alone and you yourself, you realize that you can't stop, it takes something more out of you. So if you're really, really serious, go and support yourself around like-minded folks who can stop. Maybe go into a 12-step program. You want to be proactive, because the problem with drugs, the problem with a lot of these things is when you first start, it starts off very, very small. See, I'm sure whoever the client, like when clients tell me they're alcohol, they're smoking, at first I used to just smoke on the weekends. I used to just smoke socially. I drank socially and this and this. You got to figure out, okay, why are you drinking? What is triggering you to drink? And also just admitting that, hey, look, I really don't have control over this. I'm embarrassed to say I don't have control over this. I'm really, really embarrassed, but hey, this is a real thing. And they're not alone. Right? I would say I would work on the 12-step program with him in your sessions. And a lot of people might be looking at this, why would it have to be that serious? Because the problem is, it's very, very deceptive. Again, if you could have stopped drinking, you would have stopped by now. I think one of the first things is, getting out of denial, admitting that you have a problem.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say that. Like, first he needs to realize that he has a problem, because you said he said it, that he don't think he has a problem, but so it's first you got to help him to realize that he does have a problem. He needs to accept that.
Yeah. And I did commend him for even just sharing it, because when I asked him the question about him feeling as if he lacks control, he said yes, but his answer was like really low. Like Frank said, like it sounded like he was slightly embarrassed to say that he is lacking control in that area. So I did commend him on that. And he also shared with me that his sister and his brother also drink very heavily too, but they have control over it. So he currently lives at this particular time, because he just moved. Due to his job, he just relocated. So he was saying that he lives with his sister and his brother-in-law. And when his sister talks to him about the drinking, she doesn't talk. She's more of a nagger, is what he described her as. So he said he really doesn't pay her any attention. But he says when his girlfriend comes to visit, if his girlfriend says something, he'll try to slack up as much as he can when it comes to her. But for the most part, he's like, it's going in one end, out the other. And then he also said that when his brother comes to visit, he said he'll listen more to his brother because of the way his brother communicates with him about it. Another thing that we discussed were, again, some of the ideas or things that he likes to do. We came up with some of that as well. He said he likes to go to the gym. He said he likes playing golf. And of course, he loves music. That's one of his passions. So he said he loves singing and performing, things like that. So he said if he's able to, I guess, continue with those three things, he said those will be something that will at least help him to tire himself out. So that way, when he comes home from work, it's like he's not sitting for hours at a time just bored. And then, because that's when he said it stems from just him being bored. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Try to incorporate those steps into each session with him. And as of right now, he's being seen as needed. This was something that he had decided when he and I first started speaking to one another, that he wanted to be seen as needed. So our next session, unfortunately, isn't until next month. But during that session, I'm going to speak with him just to see if he would like to meet more frequently than as needed, because now this is his concern.
Right. Yeah. I would say, I think that's good. Also have a goal that he's reaching towards, because when you're drinking, it takes away from your ability to focus on something else. But you'll have to have a way to measure that. You definitely have a way to, you have to measure that somehow and say, okay, this, my goal for the rest of July, or my goal for this month is to do X. And, set small milestones and figure out, okay, is he meeting those milestones? So there's a lot in there. I actually gotta get going here, but this was fun. Again, we are the Latte Wellness Group. This is our mental health support group, where we just talk about mental health issues that our current clients have been facing, and that we can, provide extra support to those to maybe, leverage the things, the great minds of the practice into leveraging, to leverage into overcoming whatever mental health issues, or managing whatever mental health issues that, people may be going through. And our sessions are every day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And you can visit www.lattewellness.com. We'll put a link in the description below, because this will be on YouTube. And all right, thank you all. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you, Frank. You too.
Bye. Take care.